Penitensya pa rin ang sasalubong sa mga motorista sa susunod na linggo.
Motorists will get some relief from high pump prices as local
Hanggang 21 pesos ang tinatayang dagdag presyo sa kada litro ng diesel sa Round 5 ng Malacanang Foreign Minister Syed Abbas Araghchi. Ang tiniyak sa ngayon ni Araghchi, papayagan ng Iran ang pagdaan sa Strait of Hormuz ng Philippine-flagged vessels pati ng mga energy source ng bansa at mga tripulanteng Pilipino. Inaalam pa kung maisasama rin sa padadaanin ang mga barko ng ibang bansa na may tripulanteng Pilipino. Hindi lang sa Pilipinas lubhang mahalaga ang papel ng Strait of Hormuz sa pagbiyahe ng krudo, kundi sa marami pang bansa sa buong mundo. Sa datos ng United Nations Trade and Development, mula February 1 hanggang 27, tinatayang 129 na barko ang dumaraan.
Every day, millions of Filipinos rely on transportation to reach their destinations. From workers and students to business owners and farmers, fuel plays a vital role in keeping the country moving. However, as gasoline prices continue to rise, many Filipinos face increasing challenges in their daily lives.
I used to make $13 in a day. Now it's down to around $2.50. The money for my family is now spent on fuel.
Fuel prices have increased over time due to various local and global factors affecting transportation and the cost of living.
Assistance for them. These tricycle drivers are among the first to receive an $85 fuel subsidy. Other public transport workers will have their turn in the coming days and weeks, officials have assured. $500 million has been earmarked for this program, and more financial aid is in the pipeline.
The Philippines imports most of its oil from other countries. Because of this, local fuel prices are greatly affected by events happening around the world.
Despite Iranian reports that peace talks have ceased, President Trump says Tehran has not left the negotiating table and a deal could soon come. The president also says Iran has agreed to
ang mga barko ng ibang bansa na may tripulanteng Pilipino. Hindi lang sa Pilipinas lubhang mahalaga ang papel ng Strait of Hormuz sa pagbiyahe ng krudo, kundi sa marami pang bansa sa buong mundo. Sa datos ng United Nations Trade and Development, mula February 1 hanggang 27, tinatayang 129 na barko ang dumaraan araw-araw sa Strait of Hormuz. Pero mula February 28, ang araw kung kailan sumiklab ang gera, bumaba na yan sa
Romel Asaron spends long hours on the road every day, shuttling from one city to another for work, running errands, and acting as his family's personal chauffeur. With all that driving, he's found his new electric vehicle a reliable partner.
Sinikunda niya ni Senator Sherwin Gatchalian, ang chairperson ng Senate Protect o Proactive Response and Oversight for Timely and Effective Crisis Strategy Committee. Nauna na rin iminungkay ni Gatchalian na maggrasyon o limitahan na ang inibentang langis kada
The price of
customer.
diesel in particular has doubled. That's consequential because jeepneys, the minibuses that are the backbone
Exempted ang frontliner tulad ng mga ambulansya, pulisya at mga bumbero.
run on diesel, and drivers, not just of jeepneys, but tricycles and taxis, have had to absorb the
this
additional
afternoon.
costs.
They've been a great partner. Bibi Netanyahu has been, for me, a great partner. For other people, not so good. For me, he's been very good.
Overnight, U.S. forces launched new self-defense strikes after Iran fired missiles and drones at Kuwait, hitting the country's airport, testing a fragile ceasefire. In the Strait of Hormuz remains closed, as Secretary of State Marco Rubio tells lawmakers keeping it shut isn't
If
enough.
prices keep going up, the subsidy won't be enough. But it will help one way or
2
another.
pesos of excise or 4 pesos or even 6 pesos for excise tax, it's not as big of an impact compared to what is the jump already.
So by helping drivers, the hope is to also cushion the impact for commuters. But even then, transportation officials say they're compelled to approve petitions to increase
Philippines
fares
also
across
struggling
most
to cope
public
with rising
transport.
fuel costs. Filipinos are bracing for the knock-on effects on the prices of transport, food, electricity, and other daily expenses. Maria Ronson tells us how authorities are seeking the cushion of
One
pain.
major factor behind rising gasoline prices is war international conflict.
The Middle East accounts for roughly 98% of Philippine crude oil imports, with the conflict pushing up oil prices.
When wars occur in oil-producing regions, oil production and transportation can be disrupted.
The country faces renewed pressure on transport, electricity, and food costs. Oil retailers have
This creates uncertainty in the global market, causing oil prices to increase.
They've been a great partner. Bibi Netanyahu has been, for me, a great partner. For other people, not so good. For me, he's been
The Middle East accounts for roughly 98% of Philippine crude oil imports. With the conflict pushing up oil prices, the country faces renewed pressure on transport, electricity, and food costs. Oil retailers have already begun implementing staggered price increases, and more are expected over the coming.
Since crude oil is traded internationally, even conflicts happening far from the Philippines can have a direct impact on fuel prices in the country.
Tataas sa pagkain, tataas sa lahat.
Kung ganun ang mangyari, need pa namin ng ipon para sa budget namin kasi kung mahal yung bilihin, syempre paano ka bibili kung mahal yung bilihin, lalo na yung bigas, paano ka kakain?
The government says it's putting measures in place to mitigate the situation.
The additional discounts for PUV drivers or for jeepneys or tricycle drivers, and then I think it's been triggered already, the ayuda for the drivers, fishermen and fisher folks. They'll receive assistance like fuel subsidy, and then the third one would be the program now of the president of giving ayuda to the most affected.
In addition, supply shortages, increasing global demand for oil, and fluctuations in foreign exchange rates further contribute to rising gasoline.
We're seeing now. There's always a discussion on energy transition about the energy trilemma, that we always have to balance between sustainability, reliability, and affordability. I was talking to the team that maybe there should be another one there, which is self-sustainability, that we can actually be
The
self-reliant.
Philippines is not directly involved in the Middle East conflict, but Filipinos are still paying the price when they gas up and then when they pay for their food, their transport, and their power. But the government has put measures in place to soften the blow, such as staggering fuel price adjustments, shortening the work week, and putting forward proposals for tax breaks and subsidies. The challenge will be for the country to turn this external shock into a catalyst for energy resilience.
Transportation is the first sector affected by rising gasoline prices. Public utility drivers spend more on fuel, reducing their daily earnings.
Ngayong hapon, may isa lang ko pangutan niya. Ako dahil si Mark Xavier Cabarles, ina akong pangutana. Isip usa ka driver, unsa nga mga epekto imong nasinati sugod sa pagtaas sa presyo sa gasolina.
Lisod na mamasahero kay taas ang presyo ng gasolina tapos hinay na ang income sa aming tagadlaw. So dili na mapas ang kuan kay ang pamasahe maura gihapon pero ang gasolina taas, so, dili makaya. So may problema bisag magtaas silang presyo sa gasolina kung taas ang pod gihapon ng pamasahe.
Salamat ya.
Rising fuel prices do not only affect transportation. Goods and products must be transported from farms, factories, and warehouses to markets and stores. When fuel costs increase, transportation expenses rise as well. Businesses often pass this additional cost to consumers, causing food and basic commodities to become more expensive. As prices rise, families must carefully manage their budget.
Students are affected by rising gasoline prices because higher fuel costs often lead to increased transportation fares. As a result, less money is available for food, school supplies, and other daily needs.
Isa na apekto na experience ko sa pagtaas nan pamasahe is kuan lisod gid siya labi na ko man na yag crisis gid ang all og ang mga allowance sa ay labi na ko man na student kita gamay da an allowance na madawat ta especially kay yay sa mga maapektuhan sa good sab ang ato parents sa ila trabaho kay yay bitaw manggagmay sa banila sweldo so ana mugamay sa banato kuan ato allowance so sa pamasahe grabe gid taas gid ng grabe so like sa ako pamasahe gikan Rosario to Nemso is 10 pesos min taas siya ng 5 pesos pero usually mo taas pag siya ng 25 pesos kay may pag-isa na ako sa nasakay sa tricycle mas dakoan pamasahe na makuha sa imo kay an pamasaan gasolina mahali na sa kuman.
Murag nagkalisod na jud ang atong kahimtang karon tungod sa gasolina og asa student na kuan na magmotor sa pasingot sa eskwelahan murag lisod na siya kay ang akong kuan gasolina nga 50 pesos per day kay dili na siya kaabot kadaya sa eskwelahan.
Workers also face additional expenses when commuting to work, since wages do not always increase alongside fuel prices. Many struggle to balance their income with rising transportation and living costs. Families feel the combined impact as transportation, food, and basic commodities become more expensive. To cope, many households are forced to adjust their budgets and prioritize essential expenses.
Beyond its effects on the individual and household, the continuous rise in gasoline prices has significant impacts on the country's overall economy. Fuel is an essential resource that powers transportation, production, and delivery of goods and services. When fuel prices increase, the cost of doing business also rises. Transportation companies spend more on fuel to move products from farms, factories, and warehouses to markets and stores. As a result, businesses are often forced to increase the price of their goods to cover these additional expenses. These chain reactions affect almost every sector of the economy, from food and agriculture to manufacturing and retail. As prices of basic commodities continue to rise, inflation becomes more severe. Inflation is the general increase in the prices of goods and services over time. While prices go up, many workers' salaries remain the same, making it more difficult for families to afford their daily needs.
The purchasing power of consumers decreases, meaning that the same amount of money can buy fewer goods and services than before. Families are forced to reduce their spending, prioritize only essential needs, and postpone important purchases. This decline in consumer spending can slow down economic growth and affect the performance of businesses across the country. For developing nations like the Philippines, rising fuel prices create additional challenges. Government agencies may need to allocate more resources to address inflation, provide assistance to affected sectors, and stabilize the economy. The longer fuel prices remain high, the greater the pressure on businesses, workers, and ordinary citizens. Ultimately, the increase in gasoline prices is not just a transportation issue. It is an economic issue that affects the livelihood, financial stability, and future opportunities of millions of Filipinos.
Improving transportation system, promoting fuel efficiency, and investing in renewable energy can help reduce dependence on imported oil. Strengthening public transportation and encouraging carpooling can also lessen the number of vehicles on the road, reducing overall fuel consumption. Another simple but impactful solution is energy conservation. By practicing mindful use of transportation, such as walking for a short distance, combining errands into one trip, and turning off engines when not needed. Individuals can help reduce fuel demand. Small daily habits, when done collectively, can create a significant positive impact on both the economy and the environment.
Rising gasoline prices affect every Filipino, from students and workers to families and businesses. Its impact is felt in daily transportation, basic goods, and the overall cost of living. Understanding the causes behind these increases is important in recognizing how deeply fuel prices shape our everyday lives. By being aware and supporting sustainable solutions, such as energy conservation, improved public transportation, and renewable energy, we can help lessen the burden of rising costs. Together, collective action and informed choices can contribute to building a more resilient and stable future for everyone.
When fuel